So a lucid dream is any dream in which you realize within the dream that you're dreaming. You literally know, hey, this is a dream. And the first time it happened to me, I was probably 10 or 11 years old. I was in my public library looking at books, and suddenly I see a Tyrannosaurus Rex walking through the book stacks. And I think, wait a second, aren't dinosaurs extinct? How can this be? So in lucid dreams, oftentimes you can use it to improve or promote emotional healing as well as physical healing. People use lucid dreaming, therapists use lucid dreaming to help people who have recurring nightmares, normally from post-traumatic stress disorder.
Welcome to today's episode, which is a special new Down the Rabbit Hole episode, part of Decentralized TV that has a little bit different format. So Todd, tell us about what does it mean when we have a Down the Rabbit Hole episode?
It means it's an episode that isn't necessarily dedicated to decentralized living, but man, oh man, is the guest interesting. And, you know, we needed to create a category to where that we could keep everyone interested in. And I'm just excited as heck. This is going to be fun because now we can, break out of the just decentralized living and bring a lot of guests and topics and ideas to the table that I think people are going to love.
Yeah, well said. I would also add that this interview may not be as practical as what we normally do. And also, as a disclaimer, there may be points that are presented that Todd and I don't agree with, and that's totally okay. But we think overall, the content is worth your time and attention to consider. So enjoy this episode of Decentralized TV, Down the Rabbit Hole. Welcome to today's interview here on Decentralized TV. And have you ever awakened in a dream and realized that you were dreaming? That's called lucid dreaming. And once you're in that state, you can actually assert control over what happens in the dream. Once you realize it's a construct that your mind is creating. So that's called lucid dreaming. And we have a special guest today who is an expert and an author in that area. And so we're going to explore consciousness and dreaming and other worlds and all kinds of interesting things today. So Todd, welcome to the show. Hey, isn't it cool to have a guest on this topic?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I presume this is going to be a Down the Rabbit Hole episode.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, and the cool thing is when you first brought up lucid dreaming, I reached out to you and I'm like, wow, we should find a guest that just sounds fascinating to me.
Oh, yeah.
So you immediately identified the right guest who we're gonna bring on here shortly. And so I started my research way back when because we were going to have him on a while ago. And I just wanted to discern whether or not this was just a whole bunch of woo-woo.
No.
And I took a deep dive and I'm like, holy cow, this is like legit, So I can't wait to dive in here because this is like, the Matrix in pajamas.
Yeah, it's not only legit, it's one of the most empowering experiences that you can have as a human, in my opinion, as someone who has done a lot of lucid dreaming. So let's bring in our guest. Robert Waggoner is the author of a couple of books, and his website is lucidadvice.com. Welcome, Mr. Waggoner. It's an honor to have you on the show today.
Oh, great to be here. Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us. And so we have never interviewed a guest on this topic, so we're really thrilled to have you here. So let's just start from the beginning for our audience. Can you tell people what is lucid dreaming?
So a lucid dream is any dream in which you realize within the dream that you're dreaming. You literally know, hey, this is a dream. And the first time it happened to me, I was probably 10 or 11 years old. I was in my public library looking at books, and suddenly I see a Tyrannosaurus Rex walking through the book stacks. And I think, wait a second, aren't dinosaurs extinct? How can this be? And at that moment, I realized, oh, the only explanation is this is a dream. I'm dreaming this. And so I became lucidly aware. And then I told myself, well, if this is a dream, I can wake up. And I told myself to wake up, and I woke up. So that was my very early introduction as a 10-year-old to lucid dreaming.
That is really cool to hear, but something is critical about what you just mentioned there. You realized that because you saw a Tyrannosaurus Rex, that you must have been dreaming. And yet, very often when people attempt lucid dreaming, they discover that their brains will justify the strangeness that they witness. They will say, no, I'm not dreaming. It must be a man in a costume of a dinosaur or something like that, right?
Right, exactly. And so that really is something that you learn to deal with as you go on later. There's something we call reality checks that might help you work through that quandary when you find yourself facing those kind of questions.
So Todd, don't you love that phrase, reality checks? Because that's what we need to do every day in our waking days.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. That's true. Yeah. Hey, Robert, is the key difference simply this? Normal dreaming happens to you, but lucid dreaming happens with you awake inside it.
Right. When you're lucidly aware, you are now relating with awareness to the dream experience. You literally know, hey, this is a dream. And so at that moment, you can begin to decide what it is you want to do, what is it that you want to explore. It's an open platform for inner exploration.
So it's a serious field of exploration? I mean,
in the
not
around
merely
19,
imagination?
this has a deep scientific research background from ever since 1980. That's when the evidence came out that showed that lucid dreaming existed. Since that time, there's been just hundreds and hundreds of research in the area, hundreds of books probably written on it. This is very well researched and very well thought out.
Well, but I do have to push back a little bit because, as Mike knows and our audience knows, I worship the white coats. I love physicians who prescribe medications. And I will tell you, I went to my physician and I asked them to prescribe me Ambien with 40 milligrams of Lucid, and they denied it. They denied it.
Different kind of dream there, Todd.
There we go. And then I woke up.
Yeah, right. So, but the reason this is not just a curiosity, in my opinion, this is something that's actually therapeutic, and I'd love you to speak to that because, I began lucid dreaming decades ago. The first book I read was by Stephen LeBurge. I don't know how you pronounce his name. Decades ago, and learn techniques for maintaining the lucid state, which is always the hard part for me, and the therapeutic benefits of this are rather extraordinary. Can you speak to what's known, across the industry? Sorry about it's raining here right now, but and I'm pretty sure that's not a dream. It's actually raining. So can you speak to the therapeutic benefits?
Right. So in lucid dreams, when you realize within the dream you're dreaming, oftentimes you can use it to improve or promote emotional healing as well as physical healing. Where you see this most commonly in the literature is people use lucid dreaming, therapists use lucid dreaming to help people who have recurring nightmares, normally from post-traumatic stress disorder. So the people have recurring nightmares over and over. And the first evidence came out in 1982. There was a therapist in Ohio, Gordon Halliday. He had 2 clients who had recurring nightmares from PTSD. He realized that he could teach them both to become consciously aware within the nightmare at some appropriate point. And then he asked them, just change one thing in that recurring nightmare. And so both of them that month were able to become lucidly aware in the recurring nightmare. They changed one thing, and then something amazing happened. Their nightmares basically ceased. And so that's the beautiful thing about lucid dreaming. Oftentimes, just the realization, just the understanding is enough to result in ending those recurring nightmares. And a lot of people, because of the recurring nightmares, they were the ones who had to, drink or take substances to allow themselves to sleep. And so now the fact that they could sleep because they didn't have the recurring nightmares just allowed them to return to their normal lives more quickly.
There's something really fascinating about the therapeutic effects of just realizing that the dream world is a projection of your own mind, and usually subconscious, usually without awareness that that's what's happening. But once a person realizes that, then it's so empowering, right? As you just mentioned, if you can change just one thing.
Right. It's even interesting in many of these research reports that they also found out that those who didn't even become lucidly aware, just by understanding the idea of lucid dreaming, reported fewer nightmares. And it's also interesting that the number one technique used for recurring nightmares is called imagery rehearsal therapy. So it's a therapy that doesn't even require lucidity. It's something that you do in your head during the day, but it's based on lucid dreaming principles, and that's how it came into being. So just understanding that you have some sense of agency, some sense of control, some sense of influence, that's enough to make a change with these people who have PTSD. But people have gone beyond that. Lucid dreamers have, to use lucid dreaming for things like phobia, to overcome anxiety, to overcome other issues. In fact, I remember receiving, after my first book came out a few years later, a young guy wrote me and told me that he had been a meth addict. And when he was in rehab, he saw my book on his drug counselor's desk and asked to read it because he was bored out of his mind. And he said he got to this part in the book and began to see that, lucid dreaming might be able to help him. And I remember how he told me that in one lucid dream, he was interacting with his unconscious mind, his inner self. And his inner self asked him, would you like to see what your life is going to be like if you continue using drugs? And in the lucid dream, the young man said, sure, show me. And he said for the next 10 minutes, it was like a video of all the people he would hurt, all the damage he'd do to his body, all the mayhem that he would cause. And he said when he woke up from that lucid dream, he decided to go cold turkey. And he was writing me 2 years later because by then he had completed his associate's degree at a community college. And he knew that to do that, he'd have to be clean for at least 2 years. And so he's just writing to tell me what an incredible tool lucid dreaming was that's available for anyone for free to engage their inner resources to begin to change their life.
Hey, Robert, I didn't buy your book, but I was so fascinated by it, but it intimidated me because it's really, really thick. But I did buy the Audible version, and I went for a lot of walks and I listened to a lot of things. And a little bit later, I'd like you to talk about how the use of hands can help us get into a lucid dream state. But before we get there, this is where the interview gets weird. Robert, based on your book, my research, you often encourage people to ask questions inside lucid dreams. So my question is, who or what answers?
Right. That's an amazing thing. It was about 10 years into my lucid dream journey. I was part of an explorers group where every month we had a goal to achieve. And 1 month, the goal was find out what the dream figures represent in your lucid dream. And so I became lucid, followed a woman into an office, remembered the goal, walked up to a man in a three-piece suit, and I asked him, excuse me, what do you represent? I expected the dream figure to respond, but instead, from high above him, a small voice gave out a response. And I looked up and questioned the response, and then it gave me the full response of what this gentleman represented. So it was that after that lucid dream, I realized maybe there's an awareness behind the dream. Maybe in a lucid dream, you can interact with your unconscious mind, or what you might call your inner self. So after that, I began to ask questions like, hey, dream, show me something important for me to know. And then sometimes the entire lucid dream would change. Sometimes one small part of it would change. But I began to realize that I was interacting with what most people would call their unconscious mind or their own inner awareness.
Well, other than Why am I pantless in a grocery store parking lot? What are some profound questions lucid dreamers can ask inside their dreams?
Wow, you can literally the sky's the limit. But here's the thing. One thing you have to realize is that some questions aren't answerable. There's just some questions that depend on other factors outside of a person's control. But what you can do is ask to experience concepts. I've asked on occasion, show me the universe, the energy of the universe. And suddenly the dream popped open, and through it came this brilliant white light that was shooting into my body. After about a minute, I could barely take the energy of the universe anymore. So I said, "Hey, time out, stop."
Stop.
So again, not only do you hear or see responses, but sometimes when you begin to experience the concept, that's when you realize that you're dealing with another layer of the self, a deeper layer of the self that has a broader, more thoughtful understanding of the nature of things.
Let me bring in kind of an AI parallel to this, because I'm also an AI developer. So you know how ChatGPT is trained on the entirety of all human written word and knowledge in multiple languages. That all exists in a model, but you can't get it out unless you prompt it correctly, right? So you have to ask the right question, and then it spits out the answers. But it knows everything, but it's not evident unless you ask it correctly. See, I think the subconscious mind through your entire life is also engaged in pre-training. It's observing, it's gathering, it's learning, it's building neurological networks. I think this is controversial, but I also think there are elements even from outside your brain that impact what's happening subconsciously, but that's a different topic. But even if it's just the things that you have experienced and observed, but in the dream state, you can prompt your subconscious mind like ChatGPT and get out any answer you want in any format you want. Does that sound about correct?
Right. So sometimes artists use this. They'll announce in a lucid dream, "Now show me the most incredible art I can create."
Yes.
And suddenly art will appear on a nearby wall.
Wow.
But to your point earlier about the importance of language or having the properly phrased question, I remember hearing from an artist who would announce, "Now let me look for art I can create." And he would spend the entire lucid dream looking for art.
Awesome.
Never found it. And so that went on for like 5 lucid dreams. And then he finally changed his request. "Now let me look at art I can create." And suddenly art began to appear on all the nearby walls and everywhere. So again, just by changing the request from "now let me look for art" to "now let me look at art," the lucid dream just changed dramatically. So you're right. The exact phrasing of the wording to your request is super important.
That's really key, and I want you to plug one or more of your books, because you go through techniques of how people can achieve this, which may be one of the burning questions. But what's a good starting point for people to learn how to dream with awareness?
Right. So every night we spend about 2 hours in the dream state. So first you want to start to become aware of your dreams if you haven't already. So start a dream journal, start writing down your dreams. The way that I began all those 50 years ago was I began doing this each night before I'd go to sleep. I'd look at my hands while telling myself, "Tonight in my dreams, I'll see my hands and realize I'm dreaming. Tonight in my dreams, I'll see my hands and realize I'm dreaming." I would just repeat that over to myself for 4 or 5 minutes as I prepared to fall asleep. And I do it for about 5 minutes. On the third night of doing this practice, I'm walking through my high school hallway, and I was in high school at the time. And suddenly my hands popped right in front of my face. And I thought, "Oh my God, my hands, this is a dream." So I was using the sight of my hands as a kind of a conditioned response. Whenever I saw my hands, the first thought would be, "This is a dream." And that's how I began to get into lucid dreaming, was through this technique that I basically developed after reading a book by Carlos Castaneda.
That's awesome.
What technique, and maybe it's that technique, but across all the feedback you've received over the years, what single technique has been the most reliable to get in to enter the awareness state?
I would say it's the power of suggestion. Just before you go to sleep, something like, "Tonight in my dreams, I'll be more critically aware. And when I notice anything strange, I'll realize I'm dreaming." Tonight in my dreams, I'll be more critically aware. And when I notice anything strange, I'll realize I'm dreaming. Because when you think about it, there's so many strange things that happen during the dream. And if you can up your critical awareness just a little bit, then you can prompt yourself into lucidity. Instead of accepting that the King of England is walking down the sidewalk and just accepting that and explaining it away, you go, wait a second, that's too strange. What's he doing here in my town? Oh, this has to be a dream. That's what you want. Greater critical awareness, more mindfulness. That'll push you into having more lucid dreams.
Well, Robert, for the life of me, I've never been successful at remembering dreams. So what is the best way to bring useful dream insights back into the waking life?
Right. So I think it helps to have a goal. So there's something I call lucid light, like LITE. Just before you go to sleep, tonight in my dream, show me one simple thing that will improve my health. To me, that would be a dream incubation. Tonight in my dream, show me one simple thing that will improve my health. Then you have a reason to recall your dreams. Then you have a reason to get back on the horse or get back on the path. So that's what I would do. Just incubate something fun. Tonight, show me a dream that will increase my spirits and happiness. Whatever it is, something like that can get people back on the path.
So for me, tonight I could go to bed and I could say, tonight I want to see Mike solving a Rubik's Cube while tossing kettlebells in a grocery store.
You're dreaming right now.
There you go.
But that's a great example because, see, I think what Robert is speaking to is that most of us fail to question reality during our waking life, and that becomes an ingrained habit of simply accepting all of the experiences as if they are real. If you carry that habit into your dream, you will explain away every crazy thing that happens. And that's not the way to lucid dream, right? So go ahead, Robert. Yeah.
Right. You have to if you begin to examine and explore waking life more, then you'll carry on with that same sort of characteristic in the dream state and become more likely to become lucidly aware.
I don't know if I got really good at this, if I'd ever want to wake up, man. You know what I mean?
Well, I have a question about that.
Yeah.
In the lucid dream in particular, my experience has always been that I'm not limited by the sensory experience of my eyes or my ears or whatever. So the visual acuity in the dream is far more real than it is in the real world, in like a higher resolution, you could say, you know? And so all of the sensory experiences in the dream are more intense. Higher resolution is the way I describe it. What do you hear from people? Because I'm sure I'm not the only one who has this experience. What do you hear?
Yeah, normally that's what you do here. Visually, it's much more intense. The colors are more profound.
Yeah, the colors.
It's just high def all the way.
Yep.
So, and also sometimes when you're experiencing concepts and things, also the experiential aspect of it is just off the charts.
Yes. Well, and Todd, let me just share with you and our audience kind of what that's like. So suppose you took a leaf of a plant, okay, and you put it under a microscope and you zoomed in to 200x and then 500x and you could see all the cells of the leaf. But imagine if you didn't need a microscope, that you just look at a leaf and you can already see that resolution. That's what the lucid dream is like, looking at a leaf.
You could actually get so deep into it that you could make a room out of part of it, right? You could move a couch in there, fall asleep, daydream.
Just saying that everything is more vibrant and and even emotionally. So, Robert, the other thing I've read of other people doing some rather bizarre types of experiments, which I don't recommend. For example, some people have tested their dream by, cutting off a hand or something. I absolutely do not recommend trying that, because what if you're wrong? But isn't that true that there are, some experimenters that go to some pretty crazy places? Yeah.
So it's an open platform and you can play with it in any way that you want. I remember one time in a lucid dream, my brother Paul was there with me. And to convince him that we were dreaming, I took my hand and began to stretch my arm further and further and further until my hand was about 10 feet away from my shoulder. And then I looked at my other arm, and it had been totally pulled into my shoulder. So again, you can morph around with the body as much as you want and play with things as much as you want. But again, the important thing is to understand that your beliefs and expectation, your focus and intent really matter.
Yes.
And if you believe something's impossible, then it functionally becomes impossible. But when you believe that the body is malleable, then you can manipulate it in any thousands of different ways.
So, Robert, can you lucid dream yourself into better habits, or will my personal dream self also say, Todd, we start Monday?
No, you could lucid dream yourself into better habits, I believe, because a habit is just a habitual idea that you tell yourself. And so what you really learn from lucid dreaming is that sometimes you have limiting beliefs, and sometimes you need to expand those limiting beliefs and kind of merge with the true and the accurate.
It's what's so amazing to me about this is that you're exploring your own mind, your own subconscious, in ways that never occur to you in the waking life with consciousness. However, not everybody understands that this is a completely natural phenomenon. And I'm sure you've received some pushback, so I just want to ask you about this. There are probably some people out there who think that the practice of being aware in your dreams is somehow, I don't know, demonic or something, which is crazy. There's nothing more godlike and natural than being aware in your dream, as far as I'm concerned. But how do you answer pushback like that?
Yeah, there was a research study done in Germany with school children ages 6 to 19. And what the researcher found is that even children as young as age 6 had already had spontaneous lucid dreams. I believe in the research, 25% of the 8-year-olds had already had a lucid dream. Nobody taught them. It was just spontaneous, natural, just happened. But that's what I tell people. This is a spontaneous, natural, human event. And if you learn how to work with it and ride with it, you can use it to access greater creativity, to promote emotional and physical health, to engage your own inner awareness. And so all the benefits are there for people to take advantage of. It's just that we've got to let go of the fear, because fear is the mind killer when it comes to lucid dreaming.
Now, I'm trained as a musician, and the most amazing music I've ever heard in my life has always occurred in lucid dreams. And I can never translate it out into the real world, because in doing so, I kind of lose the detail. But it is so, it's beyond Mozart. It's beyond any symphonic orchestra. For me, I have a lot of audio detail in these dreams, and it's extraordinary. It's the most powerful music I've ever experienced. Is that a common thing you hear from people too?
It is. It's interesting that Paul McCartney claims that the music from the song Yesterday came to him in the dream state.
Huh.
And he jumped out of bed and he ran to the piano and started playing it. And then he'd play that same music for his friends and ask him, whose music is this? Where did this come from? And they say, it's yours, man. You're playing it. But throughout the history of music, there's just hundreds of examples of where either the music or the lyrics came via dreaming. Now, the beautiful thing in a lucid dream, because you're dreaming, you could say, when I enter that next room, I'm going to hear the most incredible music I could ever create. And when you walk into that next room, you'll probably be listening to the most incredible music you could ever create. So that's how you can begin to play with lucid dreaming for your own benefit and for bringing forth inner creativity.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nike is just do it. Robert Waggoner is just dream it.
Just dream it. Yeah, exactly. Todd, so are you gonna start with the waking practices to
I'm going
induce
to
more
go to
lucid
bed
dreaming?
tonight. I'm going to say by the time I am in REM, I will have rock hard abs. I will have rock hard abs. And we'll see. We'll give it a shot.
You can have anybody you want in your dream, any body. Like you could be.
Yeah,
You don't have to even look like you.
that's true. Here's parting question that I have for you, Robert. If you become lucid and you immediately summon a cheeseburger, have you failed spiritually or succeeded beautifully, Robert?
I think you've succeeded beautifully. And the next best thing, take a bite and see if that dream cheeseburger tastes as good as the waking cheeseburger.
Okay.
Oh, it will. It will. Yeah, and that's the other thing is that you can use the lucid dreaming state to partake in things like that you might not want to do in real life, right? For example, skydiving, right? I don't want to go skydiving because of the physical risk of the plane not making it into, to elevation where I can bail. And that happens sometimes, but I would love to skydive in a dream. That sounds really fun. And you don't even need a parachute technically in the dream. So
yeah, it's interesting that in Germany, they've really worked with this, practicing sports in lucid dreaming.
Oh yeah.
Because there was this Gestalt therapist, Paul Foley, who did this in his lucid dreams. And he actually started working with professional teams. And now about 11% of German athletes who are professionals say they use lucid dreaming to help them perfect their techniques.
Really?
Because in the lucid dream state, they can do stuff that would be too dangerous in the waking state. Like when you're skiing, do some of those maneuvers that you wouldn't want to do in physical reality because you might blow out your knee. But in the lucid dream state, you can begin to get that muscle memory of what that would be like, and then you can begin to shave seconds off of your skiing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Robert, what is the number one technique for maintaining the lucid state? And the one that I've used before with some success is the spinning technique. And hopefully there's something better than that because I still struggle with maintaining the state. Can lose it pretty easily.
Yeah, so you're right. Some people spin around and try to keep the lucid dream from collapsing. What I try to teach people is a simple 3-step process. First, don't get too excited. If you get too excited, you're going to wake up. So tell yourself to stay calm. The next thing you want to enhance your state, and so you might rub your hands together in the lucid dream to make that state seem more real, or touch a nearby object, kind of ground yourself in the state. But you want to enhance yourself in that lucid dream. Then the next thing you want to do is maintain your focus. So every 15 or 30 seconds, you want to remind yourself that this is a dream. I'm dreaming this, because otherwise, especially beginners they just return to regular dreaming. They get so enchanted by what they're seeing, they just return to regular dreaming. So you're right. It's a process to learn how to really stabilize the lucid dream and have a long lucid dream.
Are you able to alter the experience of the flow of time in a lucid dream, like substantially, where you could spend hours in the dream, but in the real life, it's much shorter?
But people have mentioned this, and like there was a young man who woke up when the alarm clock rang, and then he pushed the snooze button that would allow him to sleep for 8 more minutes. He fell asleep, fell into a lucid dream. He said he had a lucid dream that felt like it was 20 or 30 minutes long, but then the alarm went off again, and he knew that it had to have been, that lucid dream just had to have been 7 minutes at the very most. So you can play around with time. A lot of our new young lucid dreamers, this is what they do. They kind of treat the lucid dream state in a funny way. They'll put out their hand and they'll rotate the lucid dream back to an earlier part and then start it up again. Or if they don't like what's going on, they'll fast forward in the lucid dream to a different state. So you can begin to play with space and time in a lucid dream in ways that are really quite fascinating.
That is really cool. Now, your website, lucidadvice.com, I apologize for asking, but do you offer lucid advice? I mean, do you offer like consulting or something?
Right. I give online workshops and sometimes in-person workshops. Also, sometimes lucid dreamers will write to me with their questions or their issues, and I'll do my best to respond.
Okay, great. And so the best way people can learn from your knowledge and experience is through your books?
That's probably the best way. There's some online programs that anyone can get at any time they want, where I train them into the basics of lucid dreaming and how to stabilize the lucid dream and then how to use it to explore. But and then occasionally I'll be doing events. I'm doing events occasionally with the Institute of Noetic Sciences, IONS,
great.
and Glidewing and other groups. So yeah, I get around.
Well, that's awesome. Well, look, I want to say you are very welcome to come back and join our show. And also in the future, if you'd like to bring someone with you who works with you or who is a very experienced lucid dreamer, what's the term? Something not like astronaut, but something else?
Onironauts.
What is it?
It's ONEIRO, Onironauts.
Onironauts.
So that's kind of like a dream astronaut.
A dream astronaut, right. Okay, Onironauts. Okay, cool.
Onironauts.
You could bring an Onironaut with you.
There you go.
if you wish. Because we'd love to hear how people are using this for self-improvement. There's a lot of PTSD, there's a lot of mental anguish and mental health. And I'm not saying that lucid dreaming is a cure-all for everything. I'm not saying that at all. But it's something that's safe. It costs nothing, and it's accessible to everyone. It can be part of a healing process.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a lot of examples too of people who've used it for physical healing as well. So it's truly fantastic. All the benefits that are available in the lucid dream state.
Oh yeah. Well, Todd, we're going to have to do a follow-up show
We are.
here. And you and I both are going to have to do more lucid dreaming in the meantime.
Well, I'm only maybe 25% through the audiobook, so I will continue with that. And so by the next time we're here, maybe I can talk about, meeting a dream character, providing profound wisdom while wearing a hot dog costume. And I'll let you know if I wrote it down or if I questioned the source.
Okay.
Sounds good, Todd.
And I will put on lectures from our Treasury Secretary so I can get more sleep.
Perfect.
Yeah. Gotta snooze a little bit. All right. Well, Robert, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure. It's very nice to meet you. Thank you for what you're doing, and look forward to hearing from you again.
Yeah, hope to be back. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
right.
Robert.
Thank
Cheers.
you. So there you go, everybody. Robert Waggoner, and the website is lucidadvice.com. And if this is all new to you, this is something that I've experienced for decades, and it's very real. It's very powerful, and I encourage you to check it out. So stay with us. Todd and I will be back right after this break with the after party discussion, which should be especially interesting given our subject today. So stay with us. We'll be right back. If you'd like to help support us, check out all of the affiliate deals I put together for you at rangerdeals.com. And if you go there, you'll see I've done due diligence on all of these affiliates. There's really not that many, but we have partners like Battalion Metals, co-founded by Tucker Carlson, Nessa's organic CBDA hemp extract, Above Phone models that are de-Googled phones, Red Life, here's the peptide company, Limitless, PetMectin, and so much more, including the satellite phone store, VP.net. And for almost all of these, you can use discount code RANGER here, or sometimes it's something else like Brighteon50, but normally the discount code is RANGER, which will save you something on these deals. Now, we do earn a little bit off of these affiliate deals, but it's no additional cost to you, and it helps support our platform and our work for humanity, including our AI projects that offer free open source knowledge in multiple languages. You can check those out at brightlearn.ai and brightanswers.ai. So thank you for supporting us. Check out rangerdeals.com anytime you want to save money on really high-end products and solutions that I personally endorse. I'm Mike Adams, the Health Ranger. Thanks for watching. All right, welcome back, folks. This is the after party where Todd and I get to do, this is going to be especially fun because the topic today is like anything goes. It could be, because if you can dream it, you can actually experience it in your dream.
And you may be dreaming now.
You might be dreaming right now.
If you want to ask us, your your dream wisdom purveyors, ask us a question. Go ahead.
Our Down the Rabbit Hole little video intro that has the rabbit.
I love that.
So what's funny is my editor who created that rabbit.
Great job.
So, and this is a true story. He sent me like 4 variations of Down the Rabbit Hole.
Yeah.
And he's like, which one do you like? And in one of the variations, he had the rabbit go right behind you. And then he put rabbit ears behind you like you were a rabbit furry. I'm like, no, we're not going to go furries here. That's not what this show is,
Thank you for looking out for my credibility, Mike.
That's right. I didn't want you to have rabbit ears.
Screenshot that, guys.
Right. Yeah, totally. No, I think he was having fun with you, Todd. That was
great.
Sent it to me as kind of a joke.
And then he had another one where the rabbit was like evil.
It was a angry rabbit.
Angry, yeah. Angry. I don't think it had eaten for a while, and it was just mad. Someone stole his carrot.
Right. And so when it comes to putting a rabbit in the video, you don't want angry. And you also don't want like too cutesy, childish, right. Easter bunny, right? And that's actually that's a difficult balance.
It is. Well, what he ended up with was just fantastic.
Yeah, I think so too.
Good job. And I have been getting feedback from people that are telling me they're enjoying the Down the Rabbit Hole episodes.
Oh, good.
And are just happy, because it opens it up, and that just means more DTV episodes, and people like them some DTV. Right?
Well, I really wanted to have our guest on today. I wanted an expert on lucid dreaming, and I forgot to ask him one of the most important questions, which is which devices, if any, are out there that you think can help with lucid dreaming. And there's a new device that I think it's about to be released. I think it's called something Halo, but it uses an ultrasound. Like you wear it on your head, and it emits ultrasound into your frontal lobe that's supposed to help you more easily enter lucid dream. I don't know if it works. I have no idea.
I don't either. Somebody probably is going to cheat code it with a ketamine tablet under their tongue.
Well, maybe so, but I think that device is like $1,000.
Really? Wow.
Right. So it better work for $1,000.
No kidding. No kidding.
And it's like I better have lucid dreams on command, for $1,000.
Yeah. Or you better be able to dream that there's a return department that you you can send it to. Yeah. I was thinking, Mike, if in a lucid dream, and you have the experience here between the two of us, but if you ask the dream for wisdom and it hands you a banana, Mike, my question is this: do you eat it, interpret it, or do you call Jim Gale?
No, you put it in a smoothie. That's what you do.
With turmeric and
I don't know what kind of dreams you have.
A banana and turmeric.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
I mean, that's what's in my smoothies is avocados, bananas, turmeric, whey protein, bunch of stuff.
Okay.
Because that's what gives it the sweetness. It's very nice.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Have you ever posted that recipe?
No, I'm going to film it here. I have the kitchen set right over there.
Okay,
good. I'm going to film it one day soon, hopefully.
Good.
Just need to remember to prep for that. But you've been giving some pretty bizarre examples of some dream objects and things. And I don't know what your dreams are like, but
I don't either.
Are those, because my dreams don't have that level of like crazy actors in them. Is that like, why are you using those examples?
Just to be fun.
Oh,
just to be fun.
Okay.
Yeah. No, Mike, I just figured that, lucid dreaming, you're going to be dealing with, I don't know. I guess I imagine a lucid dream as something when I was listening to the audio book, he's doing some crazy shit in there.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I mean, yeah. When he learned how to be able to fly and be able to manifest anyone he wanted and, and have any experience he wanted. I mean, it was just crazy. I'm like, people would pay a lot of money to be able to lucid dream like you. You know what I mean? You have to listen to the book. It's
but it's a skill that I think anybody can learn, but you have to earn it. It's
right.
You can't buy it unless that device works.
Yeah, and you know what? It was really interesting. He learned how to fly, right? And then what he learned is that he could fly into space, and instead of just continuing to fly and fly and fly to get to Saturn, he would just think about Saturn, and then boom, he's there. You know what I mean?
Just teleport,
Teleport, right? There you go.
Right.
So that's some crazy stuff, Mike.
Well, in my experience, when you change your entire environment like that, I call it teleporting, that's when, in my experience, it's the highest risk of losing the lucid state. So you want to change your environment gradually. And the way I've done it is, the easiest way is to start walking. And as you're walking, you can begin to change certain things. Like, okay, I'm walking down a dirt path, let's say, in the dream, but I want to be walking in, Tokyo, let's say. So little by little, the dirt path becomes a sidewalk. And little by little, the trees become, buildings. And little by little, then the street signs become Japanese.
Wow.
So you're focusing on one thing at a time, and then you're in Tokyo.
Was this something that you just kind of all of a sudden realized you could do, or were you intentional way back when?
Well, it was both. So it happened to me spontaneously in my younger years several times, and then I found that book by Stephen LeBurge. LeBurge, I don't know how you pronounce his name. And I don't even know if he's around, because I was reading that book in the 1990s. But anyway, I read his book and then learned about it and then developed more techniques. But, one of the techniques that is actually very disruptive to your life is to give yourself not enough sleep, like sleep only 5 hours, force yourself to wake up for 30 minutes and then go back to sleep. And in that catch-up sleep, you have a much higher chance of lucid dreaming.
Wow.
Right. But then your day is kind of toast because you feel like you didn't get enough sleep.
How many hours of sleep do you get a night?
I don't know, 7.5 maybe, typically.
Really?
Something like that.
Goodness.
I don't shortchange myself on sleep.
Well, I wish I didn't have to shortchange. I'm like maybe 5.5 hours, maybe 6 every once in a while.
Really?
Yeah, always been that way.
That's awesome. I mean, you're getting an extra couple of hours.
Yeah, well, it used to be when I was younger, and like whether it was college or my early years in my career, it was 4. And I would wake up and I would be as refreshed because, you go through that 4-hour REM cycle, right? And so once I learned that, instead of going back to sleep and then waking up a couple hours later while I'm in the middle of REM and then you feel like crap, I just started saying, okay, if I'm up, I'm up. I'm good. I got 4 hours, I'm good. And that added a lot of productive hours to my life.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I would imagine. That's wow. I didn't know that about you. That's very cool.
Yeah.
But you know how you and I talk about NPCs in real life?
Yeah, of course.
So you realize that all the people you meet in your dreams are actual NPCs driven by your subconscious mind.
They are, except in his book, he goes a little further to say maybe not. Maybe they are actual,
they can be like projections of your consciousness.
Or they could be entities,
Well, okay, if we want to take it there,
I don't necessarily, but I'm just, that could be a topic when we get him back on. But that's his book is not all about that. It is you and your subconscious mind, because there are some tests or whatever to where there is some stuff that just couldn't have been known.
Well, what my belief about morphic fields and morphic resonance, and the brain is actually accessing things far outside the brain.
Okay.
So I totally understand and believe that some of what your mind is tapping into in the dream state is outside of your experience.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But my point was that the people that you meet in the dream, I would say normally, mostly are projections that you are animating.
Right.
And so what some people have done in their lucid dreams is they use it to talk to a long lost loved one, like a relative that has passed or a spouse that has passed, and they really want to talk to that person again. So they'll go into the dream state and then they'll have a conversation. And even though you could argue, well, that's not really that person, right? But it's still very therapeutic to have that union again, that meeting. It's like, oh, I got to talk to whoever that passed away 20 years ago, and and they said, buy Bitcoin. No, probably not.
Probably not. Short Bitcoin, maybe they did.
So Todd, by the way, did you realize that we can rearrange our studios to be like some of our previous guests? We can. I'm sorry, I had to throw that in there. Hello, welcome to the show. How's everybody?
Oh my goodness.
Hello, welcome.
Sorry, previous guest.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That was a little bit.
We normally don't make fun of previous guests, but dude, we want to see your face.
Yeah, next time we want to see your face.
Yeah,
but, Mike. There was one question that I was going to ask him, but we ran out of time. But I'll ask you: if the waking self can be fooled every night, what should that teach us about certainty during the day?
Well, I mean, this is really the big aha from this topic, is that when you realize that when you're sleeping, your mind justifies and accepts an unlimited amount of bullshit.
Right.
And you explain it away. Like, oh, why are you in this situation? Why are you on another continent? Why are you 20 years younger again? Shopping at the grocery store, and your mind is, oh, there's a reason, it's I needed some, Fritos or whatever. But the fact that your mind accepts that in the dream state is a strong indication that your mind accepts it when you're waking. Right? And if you think about it, how much bullshit do people accept in the waking world every day coming out of, the White House or the news or corporate spin or advertising or influence operations, and people just swallow it. Not us.
And if you think about it, what did he suggest? That before you go to bed, you kind of program your mind, right? You start talking to yourself. Well, what is mainstream media doing all day long for many, many people out there, that I would refer to as NPC? They are programming,
totally,
right? Yep. During the day, during your waking day.
And people don't question reality enough.
Yeah.
And, actually a really good example of that is AI technology, where 10 years ago, the way we use AI today and the capabilities of AI today would have been considered impossible.
Woo-woo. Yeah.
Right. Like magic or artificial general intelligence, easily.
Yeah.
If you go back 10 years and if you could take ChatGPT back 10 years ago, everybody would think, oh my God, this is from the future, like the year 2100 or something.
Right.
But not enough people question, like, why is this happening? How is this real today? How can a machine demonstrate much higher intelligence than my accountant?
Yep.
Right?
Good question. Sure.
So we should be asking these questions, a lot more.
Yeah. Mike, if the dream world is created by my mind, just wargaming this through, why does my mind keep choosing weird bathrooms with no doors? Mike, that's my pressing question.
Is that a dream about Bitcoin? Is that the crypto with no privacy?
Yeah, that must be. Yeah. And when I go into the stall and there's who's the CEO of Micro
Strategies? MicroStrategies?
Yeah, he's sitting
my God, that guy. What? He's in your dream when you go to use the toilet?
Yeah.
The MicroStrategies guy is there?
Yeah.
What?
No, I'm joking.
Oh, okay. Dude, you need therapy.
That was all. Yeah. No. No.
But you could make that happen in your lucid dream if that's the way you want to use the.
Well, Robert in his audiobook,
Michael Saylor, that's the guy.
Michael Saylor, thank you.
Yeah.
He has had over 1,000 lucid dreams, he says.
Oh.
So I wonder what he believes consciousness is, right?
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to ask him about that.
Yeah. Well, we should have him back on.
I think so. Yeah.
He was good. He was good.
He'd be great to have back on. And especially after our audience gives us feedback on this and maybe they take up some lucid dreaming.
Right.
They start to have experience. Because, by the way, the very first time this happens to you, like your world has changed, man. It blows your mind. You're like, holy crap.
Well, I want to experience it. I really do.
You will. If you just program yourself. But it's like the holodeck on Star Trek.
I've never been able to remember my dreams. That's the thing. I mean, so I'm joking about the dreams, but I don't know. My brain doesn't work that way. So I got to figure out how to remember first.
That might change when you achieve lucidity in a dream.
Yeah, that's true.
It could change.
Mm-hmm.
Because you might, like you said, the first time you might get so excited, you wake yourself up. You're like, I had 5 seconds of lucid dreaming, and you will remember that.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to do the hand thing. I'm going to continue. I will report back if I am successful.
Okay.
I will be very candid with everyone. And I already have a little notepad next to my bed, and just in case.
Okay.
And we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, it's something that everybody can tap into. It's just a question of, do you want to expend the waking effort to train yourself on this?
Right. So when I'm in a lucid dream, Mike, and there's this building that says the IRS, I'm going to go like this.
Yeah, you can. You can. Okay, so let me show you something else.
Okay.
This is a technique that I learned years ago for testing your reality.
Okay.
So one of the key things is you need to test your reality constantly during the time that you're awake. Because if you don't get into that habit, you won't use it in a dream either.
Okay.
So if I have some written material, like here's a natural news magazine, right?
Okay.
So let's say that in the dream, I approach this magazine here, okay, or like it's a street sign or it's a poster on a wall or something.
While you're in a dream?
Yeah, while I'm in a dream. Okay. Then the way to test whether you're in a dream is to read it and then look away and then look back and see if the words change.
Oh, okay.
Because in a dream, the words will rearrange themselves.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, your mind is always doing like a large language model thing.
Wow.
And the words will almost never be the same.
Can you explain within the world of AI what AI hallucinations are?
Yeah. Sure. Well, it's
I hear that term all the time, but I don't really get it. What a hallucination.
Well, so it's conflating. See, the AI is trained on the mass of human language and the interrelationships between words as they're used in the context of sentences and paragraphs. And along the way, there can be strengthened relationships between words that may not be factually true as we recognize them.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, an actor's name, say like Brad Pitt, and then a year, like 1973. And for whatever reason, the year 1973 might show up a lot around Brad Pitt or some other year. And then when you ask the engine, what's Brad Pitt's birthday, it might conflate the 1973 with Brad Pitt, because statistically those have been more related in the learning. Right. Even though I don't know what year he was born.
Yeah.
But probably not 1973. I don't know. Who knows? I think it's more like 1968 or something. Yeah. Anyway, that's what hallucinations are. So remember that an AI engine is not actually doing fact checking by default. You have to tell it to do fact checking, which is what I do. like if you use my engine, brightanswers.ai, it actually has, the reason it takes so long to generate an answer is because first it does the research with all the documentation that we have, all the indexed hundreds of millions of pages of documents. And then it writes an answer internally in its own AI mind. And then before it spits it out to you, it's actually checking itself as it's spitting it out. And it's making sure it's only citing facts from the research, not from its own internal memory.
Okay.
That's because
that's different.
Like if you ask ChatGPT, tell me about this, it's using its own internal memory, which is unreliable in the same way that a dream would be unreliable. So really, it's actually said that AI engines dream their answers.
Interesting.
Yeah. And like I said, in a dream, the text is going to constantly morph. And that's what happens in AI models.
Could you imagine, Mike, if the AI was real and we were the lucid characters that it's engaging with? Or,
Well, that's in a way, that's not far from reality, I believe, because I believe we live in a conscious, intelligent cosmos.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it artificial intelligence, but natural intelligence. And our life experience is the dream in the simulation.
Right.
So we are actually in a dream, which is an artificial construct of an intelligent cosmos. And by the way, the observer effect in physics and so on means that it's not real until we observe it, until we look at it, right? So
that's to save memory, right?
Well, I mean, it's part of quantum physics and our quantum reality, but same thing's true in a dream. So if you're in a dream and if you're in like an old Western scene and you see like old Western buildings rendered in front of you, like an old town scene, in your dream, your mind is not rendering the buildings behind you.
Right.
Unless you turn around and look at them. And then your mind fills that in. And it's like, oh, we better put Western buildings in there.
Right. Hurry.
That's the way the actual world works in our 3D world. It's the same. So if no one is looking at it, it's not rendered. In other words, the wave function doesn't collapse into one.
But is it from the like just my point of view? So that's not real when I'm looking at you?
Well, number one, I'm looking at it. Okay. I mean, that's been rendered for a long time. And there's also there's a lot of buffering in our reality. So if you looked at it recently, it's already been rendered once, and so that's going to get buffered and cached, so to speak, to use computer code talk, and that's going to get rendered. But if nobody's ever looked at planet Zorg out there in some distant galaxy, it doesn't exist until somebody looks at it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you're saying I just have to go to my safe and I just need to render that monster box of gold eagles, right?
Well, as Morpheus says, you can bend the rules of the Matrix, but you can't break them.
You can't break them.
You can bend them, but not break them. So
I guess that means I gotta.
How far can you
deal
bend
with
them?
Andy Shackman again.
But there is, if you focus on attracting gold, then your subconscious mind will you're actually programming the construct to create circumstances in which you will acquire more gold.
I dig it. Okay.
Yeah.
Power of positive gold thinking.
It's a real thing, actually.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the biggest takeaways of lucid dreaming is that you need to be lucid living.
Ooh, I like that.
And I registered that domain name back in the 1990s.
Did you really?
I did. Yeah.
I think that is fantastic.
Yeah, but I've never used it since then. So, I mean, I got so busy living in the Matrix, dealing with news and current events, which is really a distraction from the far bigger picture of what's happening in the cosmos, what's happening in our reality.
Wow. Manifesting lucidity in your day life.
Yes.
That's really cool.
And that's when you realize that you can actually reshape things.
good shit can happen. But then if you think about the wrong stuff, right? Those negative stinking thinkers or whatever, and we all catch ourselves. Matter of fact, that has been something that I have been just very disciplined at. Is I never think negative shit anymore.
Good for you.
It's my language. It's just if I start feeling anything like that, whether it's to put it simply, whether, oh no, I think I'm going to come down with something I'm feeling, I get that out of my head so fast, instead thinking about, oh, nope, I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
We'll be Gucci. I just think that what you think about manifests.
That's absolutely true. Well, like that lucid dream experiment that I mentioned earlier, like walking to Tokyo.
Yeah.
And then changing your environment.
Right.
I've done that
in the daylight,
in the real world, in a much smaller scale. So, for example, I would walk along my dirt path out on a very dry, sunny day, and I would say to myself, I want to see a flower. I really expect to see a flower here. And the last time I did this, and there were no flowers anywhere because this is dry,
Yeah.
And then there's a tree coming up, like a big post oak tree, kind of trees that we have in Texas, very common. There's a tree there, and I'm thinking flower, flower, flower. And then I look around this tree, and right on the other side that I couldn't see when I was walking was like an 8-inch tall flower, a white, just fully healthy, vibrant white flower, which actually does grow in this area with a very strong stem, no other flowers around. I'm like, holy shit. Like,
that's crazy.
I just manifested a flower here, know? And I'm pretty sure it wasn't there before. But like I said, I think you can bend the rules, but you can't, I couldn't say like, make the tree disappear or something.
Right.
And I wouldn't want to do that because the tree is also a living system.
Yep.
Right.
That's true.
But could you alter the probabilities of your experience? Yes, your mind can alter probabilities. So there's always a probability that there's a flower around the corner, or there's a probability that...
And with a flower, Mike, there could be a pollinator.
Yeah. Yes.
I have to tell you, I have in my food forest, I have my favorite fruit tree in the world. It's a strawberry tree. That's what I call them. It's not strawberries. They look like really tiny cherries, but you pop them in your mouth. They also call it a cotton candy tree.
Oh,
and it is just the most wonderful, beautiful, sweet flavor. They only last a day. They turn from green to red, and you have to eat them when they're red. So you got to go out there every day and just pick them right off the tree and eat it. And it is continually flowering. And so I'm going out there, and I'm put my head underneath because it's just draping over now. And I'm just picking the red ones. And all of a sudden, bam, bam, I got hit by 2 wasps. Down. Oh my God. It scared the crap out of me. So now I got to modify I don't know what I need to do to make sure I don't get stung anymore, but.
That's funny. I have the same issue with figs. So I have fig trees.
Ooh.
And when the figs get really ripe, even overripe, all the wasps and bees come in to eat the fig nectar. So if you wait too long to pick them, then you have to deal with the bees.
Okay. Well, I heard, I don't know where something came across my feed somewhere that figs have always been the, healthiest, protein bar, candy bar, whatever, that back, when people were crossing deserts, they could do it with the figs because they held so well, kept so well, but they had so much energy that immediately just, so.
Yeah, that's true. That is not fiction. You can, I mean, they're mentioned in the Bible, and
you're right.
You can make a paste, and you can dry them, and you can mix them with some other ingredients, like flour or whatever. But like a fig cake it will last a long time if it's dry, and it's loaded with minerals as well
Right.
as healing substances. I mean, it's an amazing food. That's why I grow them, because I'm just blown away. In fact, I threw some figs into my smoothie today.
Did you really?
I did. Some like right off the tree.
That's cool.
And popped them into the blender. So I'm drinking them.
How often do they fruit?
Well, once a year, the tree goes into a fruiting cycle, but they will fruit. They will have fruit for many, many weeks.
Okay.
And that's when they need a lot of water. So I really water them heavily, and you get big, juicy fruit. And the funny thing is, I have 2 goats now, down from, I used to have 5. I have 2 because they passed away from old age. Okay, they're really old. I had a goat that was 15 years old, but the 2 goats I have now are male goats. One of them will eat figs, and the other will not. But the one that doesn't is jealous of the one that's eating the figs. So I pick 2 figs. I try to give them to the goats. One goat eats them. The other goat's like, no. But then he's looking at the other goat. Oh, wait, I do want some. And then it tries to eat it. No, I don't want that, And so eventually I eat it, But I have picky, figgy goats. Yeah. One goat that is very picky about figs.
Yeah, but both goats are figging awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're, oh my God, they're troublemakers. Because they have their horns too,
Right.
They decided they really like to eat cardboard boxes now for some reason.
Oh,
so,
good. Great.
Yeah. So I've got like, battery equipment in cardboard.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't have to throw away the cardboard. I'm just feed it to the goats because they're eating it anyway.
Goodness.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Like they eat anything. All right. Well, anyway, as usual, we got a little bit off topic, but just to wrap this up, this may seem like a woo-woo type of topic, but it's actually really practical.
Yeah.
This is something that's free to access. It is highly therapeutic. It can be transformative in your life, in your success, your achievement, everything, your creativity.
Yeah.
And it's real. So, and you don't have to take any, psychedelic drugs. You don't have to do a DMT trip or something.
Yep.
Hey,
decentralized dreaming, baby.
That's right. That's right. You don't have to let your dreams just be random chance. Or whatever they are.
Yeah, you can become the world's best prepper in your dreams.
You can even meet Michael Saylor on the toilet if you want to.
Michael,
that would be called shitcoin, I think. Yeah.
Now I know, Michael. Why is it called shitcoin? Give me a second.
Yeah, I wish you could videotape that dream and share it with us. It'd be better than an AI rendered video.
Yeah. Surely to get us deplatformed, even on Brighteon.
That's funny. All right, so let's just mention our sponsors here. And folks, I just thank you for sharing the show and watching the show. And remember, you can see all the episodes on decentralized.tv. And Todd's got a sponsorship with the UNAs. And I've got a sponsorship with my online store. But go ahead, Todd, tell us about how people can keep more of what they earn.
Sure. It's really easy, everybody. All you need to do is go to my575e.com, hit let's go, watch a 90-minute video of me interviewing the subject matter expert. His name is Dennis Gray. And I think I do a pretty good job interviewing him and really digging into all of the positive attributes of acquiring and operating a UNA. And that'll probably answer about 90% of your questions. And if you have any that are remaining, if you scroll down just a little further from the video, you can book a private consult with me and we can talk about your own personal operating reality. And I assure you that if you are a W-2 earner, a 1099 earner, if you own an LLC, you have a complicated business structure, if you own property, if you trade in crypto, if you stack gold, precious metals, if you have children, if you're in any one of those buckets, you would do yourself a positive favor by just becoming familiar with a 575E. Sorry, my alarm went off. And I look forward to speaking with you. I've helped over 700 people in the last 3 years acquire these, and we have a private Telegram group of over 600 people are in there, and they are just an amazing community. Most of them have come through this show, listening to Mike and I talk. And so you can imagine the community that's in there. It's just a wonderfully organic, like-minded community of people who really do want to keep more of what they earn, protect what they have, and decrease their personal liability.
And folks, if you're hearing for the first time that you can keep more of what you earn, you're not dreaming. That's actually real.
Yeah.
There is a legal, validated, state-recognized, federally recognized way to do this. And I encourage you to learn everything you can about this.
A lot of people are going to say, well, why hasn't my accountant told me about this, or my lawyer, or whatever? But just like they don't teach nutrition in medical school, they don't teach UNAs in accounting school or law school or whatever. So
it's the same reason why the Federal Reserve has not told you about gold.
Exactly.
Because they're buying the gold.
Yeah, they're buying the gold.
But
well, I know when you researched the UNAs and you actually hired a tax attorney out of California, and he came back and one of his, not negative, but was like, I don't know, Mike, maybe one day they'll legislate these out of existence. And I'll never forget when I told Dennis that, he laughed and he said, Todd, if Mike only knew how many California legislators I've helped acquire their own UNA, it would answer that question for him. Look, these have been around for 3/4 of a century, folks, but you don't know about it because those of us who have them, aren't big fans of maybe screwing them up. So we don't talk about them much. And then there's me, but I did that just because I can't imagine helping people decentralize their lives in any more meaningful way than helping them keep more of what they earn.
And even us, we don't go shouting out about this all over social media.
Just here.
The only way people find out about it is to get to the end of the show.
That's exactly right.
That's on purpose.
It is on purpose with intent. So we invite you.
Dennis the Gray, is that like Gandalf the Gray?
Yeah.
Is he like a wizard?
Bald-headed gray.
Yeah. Is he going to become Dennis the White? In the reincarnation, like from Lord of the Rings?
Well, let's hope not. He is 83, but let's not push it too fast.
Well, maybe he's got 2 lives in him,
Maybe he does. Maybe he does. Candidly, he is the youngest 83-year-old I've ever met in my life. I mean, he's just, since he provides these, I had to contractually lock him in, and the number is, he has to live at least to 152 years old. So we've locked that in, everybody.
Okay, all right. Well, hey, there's also, the Obi-Wan Kenobi effect. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful.
There you go.
Could UNAs for everyone. Join the light side of the Force, Luke. May the Force be with you.
Yes.
Okay, well, enough Star Wars metaphors.
There we go.
So also sponsoring this show, of course, is rangerdeals.com. And if you go to rangerdeals.com, those are some of our sponsors and affiliate arrangements that I have put together with a lot of due diligence with companies that I trust. So Battalion Metals is there. That's co-founded by Tucker Carlson. We have Ness's Hemp. We have the Above Phone there. And then the Red Life, Red Therapy Devices, Limitless Peptides, the BPC 157, as you see there, and the satellite phones and so on.
That's a great aggregation of products, Mike.
It really is. And it's not that many, that's not a long list, because I don't just, sign up for any
but it's
crazy
an important
affiliate thing.
Yeah, it's an important one.
These are people, for the most part, those companies listed there are people that we've interviewed.
Yeah.
And that I've checked out, and I've tested many of their products. For example, Nessa's Hemp, we've tested it in our lab.
It's so funny. It's somebody else told me about Nessa's Hemp. And because I was on somebody else's podcast, and he did a plug on Nessa's Hemp, and I was listening to it, and I'm like, what is that? And so he educated me, and so I ordered some, and I started using it, and then I'm like, man, I got to tell Mike about this. And I reached out to you, if you remember.
Yeah.
And I'm asking, hey, have you ever heard of this Nessa's hemp? And I'm getting ready because I know you do your due diligence. I'm getting ready to say, look, I've been using it for a while. And you're like, yeah, she's on the page, Todd.
Yeah. Probably you heard about it from that other podcast because
he heard about it from you.
Yeah. Right. That's
sure.
That's usually the way it works.
Yes.
Yeah. But I'm glad you're using it. It's a very high CBDA content.
Yeah.
CBD extract or hemp extract. So anyway, that's all at rangerdeals.com. And the thing is, in most of those deals, if you use discount code Ranger, and I've asked all the affiliates to standardize on the name Ranger, you're going to save some amount, 10%, 15%, or sometimes free shipping insurance or things like that. So you can check out each deal there at rangerdeals.com. Now, I know, Todd, we have to wrap this up because you actually have a consultation coming up, don't you?
Yeah, it's 10 minutes.
Wow. So we literally used almost the entire time that we had available, even though we thought we had a lot of extra time.
Yeah.
It often works that way.
It totally works that way. So no, this has been great. We've had a great afternoon of wonderful interviews. People should know that Mike and I usually record on Thursdays, and we usually record, have 3 or 4 guests on. And so we're going to continue pumping out the content for you. And we have our window, and we thought we had plenty of time on the back end, but we just had such great guests and everything. And so, look, I just love being us, Mike. I really enjoy my
I do too.
My co-hosting with you.
I really enjoy it too, Todd. I think we make a great team. Our audience agrees. Yeah. And we've done, 125 plus episodes and going strong. Just want to encourage our audience to check out all those episodes at Decentralized.tv, and specifically don't miss the Tucker Carlson interview that we did recently. Goodness. Yeah, there it is. Decentralized. Please watch TV.
I will tell you the best comment I got afterwards was from a gentleman, Dr. Richard Presser, who we have interviewed on this show.
Yep.
But he reached out after listening to the Tucker Carlson interview and said, it was such a pleasure watching you three engage. It was like watching a song.
Oh, really?
And I thought that was very, very cool.
That's great. He might have to pinch himself and see if he's dreaming next time that happens.
There you go.
Check your dream state, buddy. Maybe.
That would be great. Somebody pisses you off at the grocery store. Check your dream state. Admonish him.
And get back in line. No cuts.
I might just go.
You got to be careful. You want to find out you're not in a dream.
Exactly.
And the other guy knows jujitsu. And it's like.
Good.
Right.
Well, Mike, this has been awesome. I better scoot.
Really? I was going to just try to keep you all the way to the last minute where your phone rings. You're like, I got to go. No, I'll let you go. Have a great rest of your evening. Thank you, Todd, for all your time today. We had a great time. Covered a lot. It's been fun. Have a great consultation, and we'll do this again next week.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Cheers.
Right. Take care, everybody. Decentralized.tv is the website for all the other episodes. I'm Mike Adams. Thank you all for watching today. Take care, and sweet dreams, too, on top of that.
Yep. Perfect.
We'll see you.
Bye-bye.